Introduce Dr. Lynda Veto. She is going to be our sex therapist. Is that?
Well, I'm a psychologist and I deal with couples all the time, and one of the great barometers of a marriage, usually when people come to me, I ask them, you know, how is the sex life? And we're not talking about quantity necessarily, but we're talking about quality. And since it is a communication, Yvette looked at him when he said he was withholding it, and she was shocked. So, I mean, sex is part of that love communication, but we have to work on communication in this couple's case.
All right. You think you can work on with them?
Oh, yeah, we'll have some fun.
All right, wait, let me just...
Ricki is the brain, and I don't think she's being stimulated. She's a beautiful woman, and she's dressed that way because she has come to make a point.
Yes.
And the point is that if I'm going to be beautiful like this after having 5 children, 1 child, no children, just look at her. Yes. You have to spend more time making
Quality
love,
time.
not having sex. Intercourse can take 5 minutes.
Yvette and Dennis are back. How'd it go?
Well, Ricki, we didn't have sex.
You didn't have sex.
Love.
You made love. Wow.
But a lot of them, this was really one of the first times that when I was talking to Yvette, she said to Dennis, and Dennis said to Yvette, I didn't know you felt that way. I didn't know you liked that.
So,
exactly, opened up the channels.
For the first time.
Yeah, we
Wow,
don't
you did more than talk, honey.
You know, with them, basically, the situation was she was putting a lot of emphasis on sex, meaning that's the way you give me attention. And I think what we covered was that that's not the only way that you can get attention. And they didn't have a lot of things, although when they first met, music and a lot of other things is what they shared, and that's how they met, but they needed to bring that back. I mean, you've got to do stuff together. And one of the things was, if ever he said no, she took that personally, and that was a self-esteem issue, so we work with that. A male and a female, very, very different. You're taking people who are brought up in different homes, you're bringing them together and saying, hey, for the rest of your life, be together. It takes a lot of work. And sometimes with just the day-to-day routine and having children and everything, we think that we have to put all that stuff, the romance and everything, on the back burner. Guess what? It's very important. And that's what holds the family together. And I think each one of them is going to realize now that showing the love, even to the kids, is basically showing them what it's like to be in a good marriage. And, you know, they all started out well, and they're all going to continue doing well.
You all have no regrets. This was a great positive experience for you all.
Yes.
All right. Good job, Lynda Veto.
Thank you.
Lynda Veto to the show.
I see 3 myths. I see the myth of the license, the marriage license. I see the myth of the child will make it better. No, take a vacation or give each other a massage. That makes the relationship better. Not a child. And I see the myth of the perfect family. Well, I'm going to go over here with the myth of a baby will make a difference. There's one thing that you're doing that is really upsetting to me, and you're holding your 3-year-old child emotionally hostage to try to get Tim to come back. You know, and having her call up and say, Daddy, Daddy. You know, that is going to make an impression on her for the rest of her life, and that's not fair. It's not about him being a father to the children. It's about you gaining some self-esteem about yourself and realizing I'm a great person without anybody else, and I'll be a great mother.
You know, please welcome psychologist Dr. Lynda Veto to the show. The doctor, we're almost out of time, and you've heard these stories, but this is happening still today. Right now, this is going on.
This is happening today. This may be a neighbor, as you mentioned, Montel. I think it's so important that Wesley, and of course David also, it's been a while for Dave. He's able to go ahead and tell people what has happened to him and help others. Wesley, this is really new for you, and you're so brave in coming forward. We have to applaud you. It's the altruism. It's the fact that they feel that they can be nice to other people, but that doesn't include themselves. And as far as the things that you have, you either use them, you wear them out, and you throw them out. You don't keep them. But what we have here for each one of you is a little something. And this is sort of the pleasure basket. Okay, and what you have in here is you have a candle to burn, and you have a beautiful pen to take your inner thoughts and write down in a journal, and here's the journal that we have, and there's also some bubble bath. And my prescription really to you is to take 1 hour 4 times a month. which means that 1 hour is for yourself. So you don't take this beautiful writing instrument and take this beautiful journal and make grocery lists. What you're going to do is you're going to write down your thoughts, and then at the end of the evening, you can light the candle, or you can light, as Oprah said, she does it with a bath, or you can light the candle, and you can drink a nice herbal tea. You can throw out your tea bag, a nice new one, okay?
Because herbal teas, you can't use the bag 3 times.
That's right.
Palma,
you have to enjoy it that one time. But, you know, it's interesting to me because, you know, they're so nice for other people. And we all have sort of a social scheme we have in our mind. And that social scheme is, okay, we're a friend, we're a wife, we're a lover, and we know what we have to do for each of those roles. And when somebody gives you something and it's for yourself, we forgot possibilities for colleges. That's what's showing here. Different universities, different colleges. You got that bun in the oven. You're not going here.
What Lynda said about me not going to college had a big impact on me.
Here to tell us is family therapist, Dr. Lynda Veto. Welcome. Thank you.
And for the record, we must say that you are not a big fan of parents letting their children sleep with them.
Right.
With that said, what do you think about the poll results?
I'm not surprised at the poll results. My concern is that it's an all or nothing situation. Either you do or you don't let your child sleep with you.
It's not once in a while.
It's not once in a while. And what's really important is to note that it's not when you're going to be ready to tell the child to get out of your bed. It's when the child is ready. So you're looking forward to at least 3 or 4 years of sleeping with your child or children. Because what happens if another little one comes along, they're both going to have to be, one's going to have to be old enough to decide that it's, you know. They're called the show, right? Do you know why they called the show?
Because they're bad.
You're bad?
Yeah.
No, you're not bad. You mean you do bad things?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think somebody told me that somebody went after somebody with a knife in the house. You picked up a knife in the house? Oh. Who did you go after? Who? You went after you? With a knife? What happened to the dog? Did somebody throw the dog somewhere?
Lynda, what do you think? What do you see here?
Well, you know what? The whole show is about children. And you know, I'm very objective, but these little girls got to my heart because the bottom line is children need security. And for a little girl to hear the fighting, even if it's not in front of them, children are absorbed like little sponges. They're little empaths. They know. And as far as the marriage goes, you know, they said that they went to her counseling several times. She's a very eloquent, very verbose woman. She knows what she needs. He's a quiet guy. There's a reason you married him. There's a reason he married you. There's love there. You have to come to a happy medium. When you go to a therapist, as your husband mentioned, they listen to you. He needs to go by himself. You're 2 separate individuals, but you have to come together as a family.
I think this is a workable...
Please welcome back Dr. Lynda Veto, who's a psychotherapist who helps couples deal with control issues, and she's been with us before. Does one do that early in a relationship because you feel, oh gosh, somebody loves me, they think I'm so wonderful? It's a show of affection? Control?
At the beginning of, as a matter of fact, a controlling individual usually will be a wonderful romantic, person at the beginning of it. They will usually find women who are interested in being taken care of, like little girls. As far as why the guys are doing it to them, when they first came on and and the wives explain the situation, they're talking about control issues. The men come on, they're laughing. They're sitting like this. I just want to say one thing. We all here are witnesses to what you do to the women. So are all the millions of viewers that are going to be watching. Whatever your difficulty is with your anger management, if you hit them, if you cause them bodily harm, we are all witnesses. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. That some of the men made it very clear. I will come on if. And again, the checklist, as if they leave their home, they can also control the rest of the world. This doesn't happen. And that's why you're sitting in embarrassment over what you have done, because now everyone else knows what happens under your roof.
I'm just offering.
When I agreed to come onto the show, what my concern was after...
What happens when they leave?
Exactly, what happens when they leave. And you know what? I can't tell tell you out there and everybody here exactly what to do. Once the men know that their objects are going to be leaving, they will take what I'm telling them and use it against the wives. I'd be more than happy to tell the wives what they can do after the show.
I'll be glad to do that.
We're going to play the if game. If you had to describe yourself as a child in one word, what would it be?
Giving. Alone. Hyper.
Single worst fear? Go.
Not making it, so ending up where my father is in prison, or, you know, where my mom is, just not doing anything with their lives, you know, just...
You're almost sort of blaming her for being the chosen kid. And it's sort of when she's saying, well, yeah, well, now I've got to wait thing. I'm sort of like, you know, getting in your mind, hey, now you know how I felt.
Exactly.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am. You know, I mean, I've wanted to do this. I want to move to a different town. I want to go back to Clarksville. But I haven't because you asked me not to.
No, I'll by myself if you leave.
That's why I'm not going.
But if you're going to be here or be there, then I want you to be a part of my life now.
Then I need you to quit being so judgmental.
Can you spend 1 hour at least with each other a week?
Yeah.
From now on?
I'll let her pick it.
No, you have to do that together.
Because I've asked her to do stuff with me in the mornings, I've asked her to do stuff with me in the afternoon, and I've asked her to do stuff with me at night.
Okay, so
and
now...
it's never convenient for
Okay,
her, so
now can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you? Yes and yeah, or can you not?
Yes.
From now on, what's going to happen? You're going to spend what?
1 hour a week
with
each other.
Okay.
I love you. I love you.
We have somebody here today. We have family therapist Dr. Lynda Veto. Please come out here, Lynda. Hi, Lynda. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I could not do this without you.
Oh, my,
Very
you're right.
different problems with each set of sisters.
There's different problems, and we're, first of all, they're blaming each other. They're involving other family members, and really a relationship is about you and one other person. It doesn't have to do with everybody else. But that is sort of, that's a sideline. That's what they're giving us, and they think that's what we're going to believe is the real problem. That's not the real problem.
She just explained to you that she felt the same way when you made her go to her friend because she had nowhere else to go.
I know.
Got to work together. I love you.
I love you.
I really do. And I want to work things out, Crystal.
I do too, Chastity.
I want something from this.
I do too.
A lot of times, like here recently, a few months ago, I was going through problems with my marriage. Now it's better. But I contemplated suicide. I had made all the plans out about killing myself. I had nobody to talk to. And I'm saved. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. But sometimes you need a human being, to touch you, hold you and say things to you. And I just did not have that. People don't understand it. People can easily look at you and just assume that, you think you this, that, and the other, but they just don't know the things that you've gone through to get to the point where you are now. A lot of times, I've slept out in my car in the cold. Because I couldn't, I couldn't go home to my mom. My mama told me I couldn't come home. And I had a baby. She told me I couldn't come home. I was coming to get a divorce.
I didn't know.
She told me
That's where her attitude is coming from.
There you got it.
She has a lot of anger with a lot of other people. And see, we didn't know. I would never be able to look at my sister and have any idea. You know what I'm saying? I would never have any idea.
Problems. We went to a little bit of fun, a little bit of dancing around. I think we had some resolution. And what I'd love you to do, I have a great book here. Open it up and inscribe it to your sister. But don't let sister see it.
As sisters, but you also have bonded as a group. You're going to continue to remain friends and pen pals and keep in touch?
Absolutely.
That is great. Great to hear. And Lynda Veto, how about a hand for her? You are fantastic. Thank you so much.
Couples take their vows or their commitments to one another seriously enough?
Well, I think that they are taking him seriously. First of all, I want to commend them all for being on the show and wanting to get help for their situations. So right away, they are taking it seriously. What I find very interesting, and this is what we're seeing a lot of, especially in the past 10 years, is that couples like Marta are actually going ahead and getting therapy or trying to get some help prior to actually getting married. So we're seeing a lot of couples there in therapy who are not yet married.
Expert Lynda Veto. Lynda, you're the mother of 2 young boys. I am also. What I saw today scared me to death. We obviously have children so young. What do you say to Tammy? Tammy, she's found out a lot about her children, but some stuff she doesn't believe.
Okay, well, you know, one of the things that I think is very important, like you were saying, I really don't believe that they do it. My concern is this. As a mom, when they confess to do something, whether it's to show that they're, you know, they're cool or whatever, they have to be responsible for their actions. Right. So if they're talking nonsense, you have to tell them, okay, well, let's pretend you did do drugs. It's to go with, you know what, that's what you told us. That's what we're going to do. The punishment has to fit what you did. And that's what I would do.
Do you think it is harder these days to raise a kid that does behave and knows right from wrong? Do you think there's more things tempting them these days?
I think there's always been a lot of things tempting them. I really do. I do think, though, that one of the things that as working mothers we have a bit of a problem with is finding decent people who are of the age of consent to watch our children. And I think it's really, really important that just the neighbor's kid who's 15 or 16 is not somebody, you know, that's old enough or responsible enough.
They say they want their mate to stop flirting. And joining us now is today's expert relationship therapist, Lynda Veto. Hi, Lynda. Thanks for helping us out today, Lynda. Lynda, can you define flirting for me?
I'll define flirting. Flirting is harmless, verbal exchange. Nothing here is harmless. It's gone way past verbal. We're not talking about flirting. We're talking about trolling. You know, you said something very interesting. You said that I want us to be a family one day. You're a family now. You have a kid together. You're a family now. It's this back and forth. It's ping-ponging. You all have relationships. Start speaking to each other with it because there wasn't.
Now I really want to stop. I've told her.
Okay, you say you really want to stop. You also mentioned.
I have stopped too.
Okay, but you also mentioned before. You said that you know it just happens. Well, which head are you going to think with? It doesn't just happen. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't happen. You know, and those are the choices you make.
How does she ever learn how to trust him again?
Lynda, how does she learn?
Well, there has to be a lot of communication that goes on. I mean, you know, there are a lot of people that are in, you know, marital situations and living together situations where people make mistakes. They can't do it on their own. You're right. I mean, they have to have somebody give them like a relationship agenda. You really need some therapy.